Welcome to the war. Today's game is another game of Warhammer Ancient Battles. We will be playing the flank attack mission with the Gauls this time, not Celts, being the flanker and the Romans being the defender. So 1,000 points aside. The flanking force of these Gauls is split into two pieces. We've got 20 fanatics, the warlord, and 30 warriors, of which the warlord will join them, with the flanking force being these slingers, 6 slingers, and my newest unit, 10 noble cavalry. These are Victrix minis. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I'll probably post a separate video showing them. I know it's a little dark here, but very expensive unit. They're armed, so the base 25 points a piece. They've also got thrusting spears, and the command unit, the command group is in that too. So they're a very expensive point sink, basically. Over to the Romans, 6 Auxilia cavalry, 20 regular Auxilia. The general, he is the highest general you can take. 2 units of 15 legionnaires, and 8 archers, Auxilia archers. Wish I'd base those separately, as they tend to, I found myself in this game now spreading them out rather than having them in ranks like that, but it'll work for now. So, all right, I'm gonna start deployment. I already rolled, and this game will be played for 6 turns, which tends to favor the flanking force, and we'll see how they deploy. Okay, deployment's complete. As I was setting this up, I realized I should probably explain the parameters of the scenario that we're playing here. So, flank attack basically means that 1/3 of the flanking force needs to be kept off of the table, and at least 1/3 needs to be on the table. Starting on turn 3, the units enter the table. There's no rolling for that; they just appear from the sides. So, in terms of deployment, both sides need to keep their flanks fairly empty, or they're fairly tight in this scenario. So with that being said, I deployed the 2 units of barbarians on this side, the warriors with the warlord, and the fanatics right here. They're facing down the might of Rome's legions, with keeping their flanks fairly tight. The Auxilia archers over here, and the Auxilia looking to cross the stream, or at the break there. The 2 units of legionnaires with the general behind them, looking to provide support, and then the Auxilia the cavalry that will likely try to get into combat pretty fast. Okay, so the Gauls rolled for turn 1. They'll go first. Let's see what happens. Okay, a fairly quick first turn. The Celt fanatics failed their warband roll and moved forward, whilst I was trying to hold them back until further numbers could arrive. Consequently, the warrior unit didn't do anything. They stayed where they were. The Romans, however, they all marched forwards. The Auxilia crossing the river there. The archers behind, hoping to pivot around in the next turn and open up a firing position. The legionaries in the middle, moving forward, marching forward, general behind, and the Auxilia cavalry moving their full range, looking to make some kind of a move in the next turn. So, okay, on to turn 2. Turn 2, and the Roman noose is getting tighter. So the fanatics pivoted wheeled just a little bit, so they weren't presenting their flank so much to the cavalry. And the warband, or the general, the warlord, they moved up just so they, they wouldn't overexposing the flanks on this side. The Romans, however, they continue the march forward, putting themselves in a really good position for the next turn. So the cavalry they inched forward a little bit within outside of charge range of the warriors. General supporting on that side, although I was wondering if I should put him over with the auxilia. And then again, the 2 legionary units moving up. The archers really not being much help right now. So turn 3, let's see what happens. Okay, an eventful turn 3. So as expected, the flanking cavalry and slingers came on this side of the table, causing panic along the line for the, not literally, but concern for the Romans. So the auxilia cavalry pivoted, effectively creating a little bit of a speed bump. They obviously couldn't charge because they didn't start the turn in line of sight. The other legionnaire unit also pivoted along with the general. This warband still staying firmly ensconced over here, looking for their next opportunity. However, the main event was this big clash here between, first of all, the fanatics charged, mandatory charge, into the legionnaires that fought to a stalemate because of the stubborn rule, and then the auxilia charged in the flank in their turn, but ultimately weren't able to budge either unit. So that's going to continue into the next turn, and then let's see what happens when we start turn 4. An exciting 4th turn. So unexpectedly, the noble cavalry charged into the auxilia cavalry and actually lost. They could not crack the unit, but were able to pass their break test. So the combat will continue there. Echoes of the last game I played here with large point units happening. The slingers moved up, really not taking a whole lot of effect. This unit of warriors and the warlord charged into the general. They weren't able to wound him, but got him to run or to flee or break and flee. And the subsequent pursuit roll caused the warband to crash into the flank of the legionnaires to be fought in the next turn. Over here, these legionnaires were able to defeat or rout and cut down the fanatics. So they're going to need to be repositioned in the next turn. However, the auxilia are perfectly lined for a flank charge into the warriors in the next turn. So, close game. Let's move to turn 5. A very messy turn 5. This battlefield is just one big swirling melee right now. So let's start with the main event. The auxilia are able to crash into the flank of the warriors. Really very little happening here. Actually, this guy was a casualty. This entire combat fought to a tie. Over here, the Gallic noble cavalry were able to break the auxiliary cavalry, but the auxiliary cavalry were able to outrun them, and the pursuit failed. The Roman general rallied himself, but wasn't able to do anything effectively after that. Archers were able to eliminate one of the cavalry as well, so they're in certainly some trouble there, getting pretty worn down. However, this unit of legionaries is looking poised to do some charging of its own, so this really is going to come down to the last turn. Let's see what happens. Ave Imperator, it's a Roman victory. So the warband in the middle was crushed and chased down, and over here, both flanks of the Gallic noble cavalry were charged by the Roman general and the auxiliary archers, who collectively removed or left just one, noble, but he was able to pass his break test. So at the end of turn 6, there's a lot more Romans on the table than there are Gauls. So we're going to call that one, or this one, a Roman victory. Fun game. Really underwhelmed by the high points cost of the cavalry. Again, they just don't seem to be that effective for their price. Really impressed with the auxiliary cavalry, who put a real crimp in the plans of the nobles again. All of the archers and slingers were fairly ineffective, and again, the solid nature of the Romans held through. I know there was a couple of comments on my previous battle report for this kind of game that said the Romans really need to get the charge. And I see where they're coming from, or see where you're coming from, but they do just seem to grind down units over time. I will say that the last turn of the combat between this unit, and the Auxilia, all crushing in on the Celts, they did really start churning up casualties. Obviously being hit from every side is going to do that, but they really did start to mount up over time. So anyway, there we go. Hope you enjoyed watching. More comes soon.